I joined Lawrence Tech as the vice president and provost in September 2020. And I was blessed to work with our previous president, Dr. Mudgal, for roughly 1.5 years till the end of 2021. And then Dr. Mudgal decided to retire, and I was truly honored that my colleagues and the search committee, after going through a national search for about 9 months, decided to offer me the position. I started as president in 2020, and it's been an amazing ride so far. Truly blessed and happy to work with this great, incredible team of professionals in Lawrence Tech, serving, of course, our students in the best possible way we can. My own background is engineering. I am a roboticist. My area of specialization is robotics and automation. My undergraduate degree is from Egypt. That's where I'm originally from. I moved to the US in '88 after finishing my undergraduate degree in computer engineering from Alexandria University. And I came to basically pursue graduate studies at the tender age of 20. And I joined University of Pennsylvania for my master's degree in '88. Graduated, worked in industry for a little in Philips Research Laboratories in upstate New York, working on industrial automation and manufacturing and industrial inspection using robotics. Went back to grad school and finished my PhD from University of Pennsylvania in '91, and I frankly wasn't sure what I wanted to do with the rest of my life at that point. I was 24-year-old at that time, but of course, working in Penn and doing research and development in what was incredibly exotic at that area, robotics and automation, was so exciting and fascinating. And I also had a great chance to teach a couple of classes while I was at Penn. And I decided to pursue an academic career. My first academic job was at the University of Utah, actually, in Salt Lake City. I was there for a little bit more than 3 years as an assistant professor of computing, computer science and engineering. Did exciting work in robotic prototyping and designing of machinery and applications of automation and a whole number of fields, building towards the design of electromechanical systems in general, including sensors and actuators and moving platforms, etc. And I managed actually a sizable National Science Foundation grant that was an electromechanical prototyping grant. Moved from there after a few years to the University of Bridgeport in Connecticut, where I actually stayed for 25 years before joining Lawrence Tech in 2020. I served there in many capacities. As an associate professor, I was a department chair, full professor, dean of engineering, and actually I was the longest serving dean of engineering in the country at some point. I served as a dean of engineering there for 20 years. That's not a very cool thing, but it just happened that I was there, and it was a great ride. Built an amazing school with wonderful colleagues, truly a powerhouse of engineering in New England. And then I became the university vice president for research and progressed, became the university senior vice president, and then right prior to joining Lawrence Tech as provost in 2020, I served as the university executive vice president for economic development and research, in addition to double duty as actually the founding dean of the professional college, the College of Engineering, Business and Education. Very exciting ride, and it's kind of interesting because at the end of my tenure there, I was contemplating moving to a technologically focused institution, university in the US. I mean, my family situation and our children, grew up, and it was our family status was more amenable to geographic moves, of course, at that time. It's kind of really interesting because at that time, having been in academia that long, uh, and given my interest in pursuing a leadership position as vice president or president at a technological university, I started doing a very thorough, concise, precise, and comprehensive search of every institution of higher education in the US. And given that there are 6,000 universities in the country, I thought that the number of technologically focused universities would be probably a few hundred, right? Given that we are in the 21st century and given the fact that technology is crucially important in every single discipline, really. And interestingly, after this very thorough search, it turned out that there were only 56 institutions in the whole country, actually, that are technologically focused by mission, vision, and name. That was stunning because in this time and age, having only less than 1% of universities in the country that are technologically focused was very strange, to be very honest. And I also was looking for a comprehensive institution, meaning not really a glorified school of engineering, science, and technology. I was looking for a comprehensive institution with all the majors and also at all the levels, from associates all the way to PhD. An institution that truly believes in technological education in all disciplines and ensures that its graduates are technologically trained regardless of the field that they study. And that, made the list of possible universities to consider even less. So that list went down from 56 to 28. And it was kind of fascinating. Only 28 comprehensive doctoral technological universities in the whole country. And I've worked most of my life in private institutions, both industry and or consulting and even academia, with the exception of the few years in the University of Utah. So my preference was to work in a private university. Usually with private higher education, one can quickly manage changes in the curriculum and react fast to industry needs and come up with design within the instruction that would be amenable to the fast pace of change in technology. So my preference was for private universities. And within these 28 universities, there were only 13. So it was kind of fascinating because, starting from a job search with 6,000 institutions and then ending up with just 13 universities that are technologically focused by name, mission, and vision, comprehensive doctoral and private. And many of these universities you probably already have heard the name of. MIT, California Institute of Technology, Stevens Institute of Technology in New Jersey, Worcester Polytechnic Institute in Massachusetts, RPI, Rensselaer Polytechnic Institution in New York, and 3 or 4 others, and of course, Lawrence Tech. And kind of interesting because my search failed after all this because there were no positions open for president or vice president. But then, karma, it happened, a few days after I concluded my search and realized that there were no openings in these 13 universities for provost or president. I got a call from the international recruiter that Lawrence Tech hired, letting me know that our past provost, Dr. Vaz, great colleague, has decided to retire and, encouraging me to be considered for the position, and I did. And the rest is history. I joined Lawrence Tech as provost, Dr. Mudgil. It was an amazing, wonderful thing because being an engineering dean and in technology all the time, I have followed many of these universities, including Lawrence Tech, and to be very honest, the changes that have happened to this campus and what we do here over the last 25, 30 years are truly unprecedented in higher education. Excuse me. Higher education moves slow, unlike industry, and everywhere in the world, including the US. And I had visited this campus before I came in to interview and join in as provost. And I think it was the early 90s, maybe, or late 80s that I did that as a professor. And at that time, I was attending a conference, an automation robotics conference in Detroit. And I recall that the conference end banquet was held on Lawrence Tech. So I had a chance to come and visit and tour the campus. And then fast forward 25, 30 years later, coming in for interview, I was stunned. I mean, the campus is a completely different campus with a thriving residential life and dormitories and a thriving, athletic program and plenty of interdisciplinary degree programs in all the majors, including health sciences and business and others, with a budding research program across the campus. And I was blown away because higher education does not move that fast. You would think that 25 years is a dramatic amount of time for that kind of change to happen. Not in higher education. Higher education moves very slow. So it's been fascinating following Lawrence Tech and then coming to interview and seeing the changes. I mean, kudos, of course, to all the previous administrations and presidents and colleagues who have worked here. It's been an amazing path for such a wonderful technologically focused, comprehensive private university. I mean, what a wonderful time. I mean, is all I can say. It's the right time, it's the right institution. It's truly amazing. I mean, Lawrence Tech is truly an elite institution. I mean, we're very unique. I did touch upon the fact that we are one of these 13 private comprehensive doctoral technological universities in the country. But even more so, within this clique of very elite universities and distinctive ones, we have amazing differentiators. I mean, this university works with more than 800 industries and companies on a daily basis. Our students work in their classes, on their projects, not only senior design projects or master thesis or bachelor's project or dissertations, but within every class in all the majors. The projects that they work on, the teamwork that they thrive, while implementing, cool things for industry, is mostly industry driven. Our industry professionals and colleagues from across, the region and even the nation help and work with our faculty hand in hand to design top-notch, world-class projects that are needed for industry. That's the kind of experience our kids encounter here while they are studying their coursework in the various disciplines. This is a unique differentiator. That intimate relationship between industry and academia on a daily basis within every class, starting from the freshman class all the way till students graduate and beyond graduations and graduate degree programs, is very unique even amongst these 13 institutions. The kind of outcomes and the kind of work that is being done here is unparalleled. First of all, we do not offer large classes. Our instruction is one-on-one. Our largest classes are like 25 students in any discipline, which is an incredible opportunity for students to work hand in hand with the professors from day one. Our professors, world-renowned researchers in their fields and discipline, and they are complemented by a cadre of hundreds of industry professionals who work with our professors, either on an adjunct basis or a co-teaching basis, to make sure that our students are educated in the most recent advances in industry and in research. Our students work on research projects from day one. because our professors get lots of funding for sponsored research activities, right? So the experiences and the one-on-one kind of instruction and making sure that our students get the best out of their experience here is unique. Even within these 13 wonderful universities, it's very uncommon for students to be in a class less than 100 or 200 students for the first 2 or 3 years of their existence as undergraduates. We do not do that here. We are very proud, and we want to maintain and assure that our tradition of really close relationship between our professors and our freshman students all the way to graduate students is well maintained, and this is something we are incredibly proud of. When you look at Lawrence Tech is amazing, really. I mean, look at the co-ops and internships. Our students, more than 90, probably 95% of our students in all the majors do not get out with a degree from Lawrence Tech unless they have went through at least 1 or 2 co-ops or internships. That's amazing. Paid internships, and actually very well paid internships. And so they get the experiential piece of the education while they are students here and get paid for it. You know, they always ask people like myself and the other deans and the vice presidents across the nation, which is a measure of success of an institution. What is the percentage of students who get a job within 6 months of graduation? And if that number is 80, 85%, that's incredible. I mean, that's top notch. Well, it's 100% here. Our problem is not to get jobs for our students. Our problem is to keep them, because they get the job offers way before they graduate, when they're juniors and sometimes even earlier. And of course, when they are seniors, they go and do the co-op and internship, and the company want to just hire them and, you know, want them to finish part-time, which we don't encourage, but that's a good problem to have, right? Lawrence Tech is unique, even within the state of Michigan. I mean, look at the numbers. I mean, it's all about numbers. I mean, we have enjoyed the highest salary upon graduation amongst all institutions in the state of Michigan for at least 2 to 3 years now. That number is about $66,000. I mean, isn't that impressive? And of course, this is because of the kind of instruction that we do. The theory and practice, the hands-on, the extreme involvement and immersion in industry trends and industry projects, the research experience and the research backgrounds and the opportunities the students have on campus, even employment on campus in our top-notch world-class laboratories, studios, and workshops enables our students to do better. You know, in this time and age, the value proposition of higher education is being questioned, right? I mean, parents want to make sure that the investment they put in pays off. I mean, no parent, including myself, you know, want our children to graduate after such a significant time investment and of course financial investment, and end up in the basement after 4 years without a job, or later maybe a low-paying job. The value proposition here is evident. I mean, students come here, they get immersed in theory and practice from day one. They get immersed in experiential education, you know, from day one. They get research experiences, they work on campus, and they work with world-renowned researchers and industry professionals, and graduate with the highest salary average in the state and one of the highest in the nation. Lawrence Tech is unique, and as you know, so appropriately said, for someone like me, given my own background, this is absolutely the right time. I mean, the energy in Lawrence Tech, the excitement of the students, transformative projects that they work on, whether it's in autonomous vehicles, whether it's in robotic construction, whether it's in 3D printing of houses, whether it's in robotic surgery, augmented reality, sustainability is cutting edge and so exciting. We are very hands-on, we are theory and practice based, we enjoy and thrive on experiential education, and above all, we're also very interdisciplinary, because the future of education is interdisciplinary. Even in my own field as a roboticist, or in our one of our signature programs, robotics engineering. Actually, our robotics engineering program is 1 out of 3 undergraduate robotics engineering accredited undergraduate programs in the country. Our architectural engineering is one out of two graduate level accredited architectural degree programs in the whole country. These are flagship programs. And when you take a look at, going back to interdisciplinarity, at, for example, the area of robotics, as an example, that's the epitome of interdisciplinarity. Students need to learn about sensors and actuators, and that's electrical and computer engineering. They need to learn about, bioengineering if they're working in the area of prosthesis and artificial limbs. They need to learn about material science and engineering for designing of, unmanned air vehicles and manipulators and moving platforms or undersea drones. They need to learn about dynamics if they're working in UAVs. They need to learn about computer science, because we need to program all of these machinery, whether they are autonomous or teleoperated or others. And most fields, most of these future fields, whether it's robotics or nanotechnology or sustainability, and job titles, by nature require students to take classes from different disciplines, right? And that's something we are also proud of, and a trademark of Lawrence Tech. We're not only experiential, theory and practice, hands-on, and technologically focused in all the majors. We are very interdisciplinary, and we provide opportunities for students to explore other areas so they become well-rounded professionals. Talking about the grand challenges facing humanity as a segue into what our students do in the community, and in particularly our wonderful city of Southfield. So the theme across the campus when it comes to solving humanity's problems, many of them are technologically focused and based, is as follows. Many scientists, engineers, and eminent individuals over the course of the last 20 years came up with a list of the major challenges facing humanity into the 21st century. The list is kind of interesting. One of these challenges is clean water, right? Another challenge is sustainability, and a third challenge is reverse engineering the brain, for example. And the list is, mitigating nuclear threat, as an example, personalized medicine. And it's a very interesting list, right, of challenges that if we as humans were to solve them, lots of problems, and the quality of life is going to be exponentially better for the major citizenry of this earth. And from an education point of view, to solve these problems, or to begin thinking about solving these problems within an academic context, regardless of the field the person is studying, what we try to do is ensure that our students not only learn and understand within the context of their major or discipline how to address one or more of these challenges, but also how to perform research and development in order to provide either macro or micro solutions to segment of one of these big challenges. We try to ensure that our students are immersed in one or more of these challenges from a global and local point of view. How to try to solve and address this, in the US, outside the US, or within the local community in the US or the region via service. And hence, it's instilled in our students from day one, because they have to do, and they are encouraged to do service within one of these grand challenges, to immerse themselves in the local community and address one or more of these issues, whether the issue relates to sustainability, green engineering, solving problems for the local community, and what have you. They are also encouraged to think entrepreneurially, how to solve a version or more of these grand challenges in a way that does not have to be performed in a Fortune 500 or 5,000 company, but how to start their own business that can address a small segment of such a grand challenges. So when you really take a look at our students, going back to your questions, and why they are so immersed in the community of Southfield and help out in many service projects relating to, areas from housing to, greening, to sustainability and such, That's actually part of their curriculum. That's part of what they learn. When you take a look at our academic programs, you will see that our students are working on sustainability and green engineering type programs in the city because the architectural engineers, as an example, within that college, a big part of the curriculum is working on sustainable architectures and design within the community, and that's part of the service requirement, of that particular major. When you take a look at the engineers with all what's happening in electrification and alternative energy and the move towards that direction, not only locally or regionally, but worldwide, you will see them immersing themselves in sustainability and green engineering and decarbonization type projects within the community. And you will also see that within the various majors that we have. And that's, I think, the cross-cutting theme across many of our majors. We want to make sure that our students not only learn the major that they are studying or the field that they are interested in, we would like them to be well-rounded professionals who understand and have knowledge in related fields that are supplementary, that enables them to have a broader impact when they practice that particular field. And we would like them also to be good citizens, learn how to do really useful community service that really touches humanity and locally, and address problems within that particular service. Would like them to be good global citizens and encourage them to do international work, not necessarily even within the US, but in many other countries, to help mitigate some of these problems relating to the grand challenge within the field that they are studying in. LTU is an inspirational story. LTU is a very strong institution. The state of the university is strong. And I think our path in the future and what our aspirations are pretty obvious. We intend to have a much broader impact on society in general, whether that society is defined to be our great city of Southfield, the region at large, nationally or even internationally. The kind of work we do here is transformative. It truly is. We change people's life. We change what? Maybe, 4,000 to 5,000 students' life at a time, our population of students. We want to have a much broader impact and provide the opportunity to get this transformative education that helps graduate the professionals of the future, the professionals who are ready for job titles that don't even exist yet. The future of work is going to be very different. It's going to be very technologically focused, very innovative, very interdisciplinary. And we are doing that now. And what we need to do is generate and produce many more of these graduates. So we aspire to broader impact. We aspire to filling in the pipe from high schools and community colleges with many more students than we have right now. We want to provide this opportunity to not only our typical type of students, but different students, adult students, students from socioeconomically disadvantaged situations. And we would like to get more and more of them into the pipe so we can help create these professionals that can address really this big grand challenges. So that's a change. We will grow, we will continue to grow as an institution, and we will find ways to make it financially amenable and possible, in addition to exciting more students who might think now that they cannot get that type of education to get in. So that's one big charge. We will be and will continue to be more research and development oriented, and you will see an expansion of our research activities in cutting edge industry needed type work. You will see lots of cutting edge and research and developments and new intellectual property and new inventions and creations within the areas of robotics, automation, Industry 4.0, sustainability, augmented and virtual reality, alternative energies, electrifications, autonomy in general, and autonomous vehicles and autonomous unmanned air vehicle and seafaring vehicles, etc. You will see significant work in STEM education across the board. You will see interdisciplinary research and development and education centers within these areas of the future that are needed. Smart cities, wireless and mobile computing, cybersecurity, data sciences, and analytics. And when you really take a look at all of these emerging fields and fields that are very much needed by industry, you will see that all of these fields share some characteristics. They are all very interdisciplinary in nature, requiring experience and or education in multiple fields. They are all very technologically focused. They need technologically educated professionals, and you will see that they are all transformative. They do have a broader impact on society in different areas. You will see also an expansion of our professional development offerings. We realize and we are very cognizant that people specializing in one degree and the one model of education being only a bachelor's degree or a master's degree or a PhD is a thing of the past. We are very cognizant that in the future, things like micro-credentials, certifications, workshops, alternative training, and many other ways of dispensing education is going to become more important and needed by industry. When you really think about it, in the past, industries, companies really looked at a degree name. Okay, so you might have a architecture degree or a design degree or a sciences degree or an engineering degree or a computer science, and they would define the job based on, okay, we would like an employee who has a degree in civil engineering or architectural engineering or an architecture with an experience of 3 to 5 years, and then they would look at the rest of the credentials and the experience. This is a world that is disappearing. Now it's about skills. We need, people and employees who know how to program. We need people and employees who have very good quantitative skills, who have very good visualization skills, who have very good marketing and organizational skills, who have very good digital and integrated media arts, marketing, and design skills. And it's about the skill set. It's not about the degree name anymore, right? And we are very cognizant that the only way to do this is not only through degrees. It's through interdisciplinary education that's very open. It's through the potentially not a degree, but maybe a diploma or a micro-credential or a special training program that's specifically designed of a certain duration of months or a little bit more than a year or less than a year. And we understand that as an educational institution that wants to have a very significant impact on industry and the region and the community and the country, we need to also be able to provide these kind of credentials and training. And not only for adult students, no, but for everyone. Now you're seeing companies in Silicon Valley and in the Midwest and in New England and the Northeast and the South that are hiring high school students, not necessarily with a degree program, but with a specific set of skills, either in hardware or software or quantitative analysis or visualization or data sciences or analytics that are crucial, and they want them to have that. And these candidates are learning all their life anyway, right? So we are very cognizant that within the next 5 to 10 years, and in higher education, these kind of alternative credentials and certifications and workshops usually never constitute more than 2 to 5% of the business of any university. That's a classical model. Higher education was and continues to be always about degrees, bachelor's, associates, master's, PhD. We know, and what we want to make sure of, at least here at Lawrence Tech, that 5, 10 years down the line, we envision anywhere between 30 to 50% of our business to be in these alternate certifications and credentialing, area, because we know industry needs that. We know it's going to be skill-based. We want to ensure that we continue to be interdisciplinary. We want to be able to offer professional developments and certifications on lifelong learning and micro-credentials and micro-certificates, not only to adult learners who want to lifelong learn, but also high school students, graduates, and others who want to get into the job market quickly, and we want to be able to offer both. So you'll see a great expansion of our professional development offerings going forward. In addition, of course, to a great expansion of our as I probably already mentioned, research and development arm, and a broader impact from a talent pool coming in point of view, so we can produce more talent and be able to fill the need. The need in the US in terms, and the shortage in terms of STEM educated and technologically focused interdisciplinary professionals is in the millions. We have a big problem. We have a lot of people looking for jobs, and we have hundreds of thousands of job openings requiring these type of skills, technological skills, STEM skills, but there is no match. People who are looking for the jobs, who are trying to find jobs, do not have the skills of these hundreds of thousands of job opening. And we see our role is to try to fill that void. We need to graduate more STEM professionals. We also need to continue, and that's a big charge, to reach to high schools. We need to get into the high schools and middle schools more and more. Our university has the largest dual enrollment program in this region. We have more than 1,000 students from 48 different school districts who are taking our 100 level courses right now as juniors and seniors. That number has quadrupled over the last 3 years. It used to be 250, now it's 1,000. Why? Because when you do that, you encourage students from an early age that, number one, college is doable, right? STEM is fun, and engineering is fun, architecture is fun, being a professional is fun, with all of these new emerging paradigms and majors and interdisciplinary education. You basically what we're trying to do is what the popular culture is not doing. Popular culture does not really glorify or make STEM professionals look exotic and cool to attract students from high schools and middle schools. What we need to do, and what we're doing already, and you'll see an expansion of this going forward, us reaching more and more deeper down to high schools and middle schools to try to attract and excite more students in these schools to come to Lawrence Tech and institutions like Lawrence Tech, and make them know college is possible. College is not expensive because of the internships and jobs on campus and the merit scholarships and the co-ops and what we try to do and help out with. And you can do it, and it's possible. Immersing them in this environment, having them catch the excitement of our undergraduates when they are working on campus and playing around with race cars and autonomous vehicles and unmanned air vehicles and building amazing robots and 3D printing structures that are incredible. And you will see an expansion of the dual enrollment program going forward, so we can pull more students and into the pipe. So that's another thing that you will see significantly expanding in Lawrence Tech going forward. Lawrence Tech is really, we are a real, I don't know how to say it, I think elegantly, but let me give it a shot. Lawrence Tech is an institution that understands fully the needs of the community surrounding it and the needs of industry. We are an institution that emphasizes theory and practice. We are an institution that ensures that every graduate is technologically savvy, ready for a great high-paying job from day one. And what we intend to do is to continue to do that, graduate students who are ready for the job market of the future and the future of work, graduate students who are ready to tackle the jobs of the future that do not even have a title yet. And we will make absolutely sure that our impact, our broader impact on society and the community, continues to increase year after year.